Statistics South Africa has launched the Income and Expenditure Survey, which will begin this month and run until the end of November 2023. The information gathered is set to be used to reflect on the prevalence of poverty and inequality in South Africa. Collectors are expected to reach about 31,000 households and gather information on their purchases, their spending and their income. Let's unpack this further with the senior economist from the Alternative Information and Development Center. Dr. Dick Forslund joins us via our video link this morning. Doc, it's great to have you with us on the program. The last time we had this survey was 2014, 2015, if I'm correct. And so much has happened since then. One wonders how this is going to impact just the outcomes of what we will find in the survey.
Yeah. Good morning to you and the viewers. No, it's very good that they do it. It's 7 years since last time. And one thing is, of course, the effect of the pandemic and the COVID crisis, and the effect of the rain bomb in KwaZulu-Natal and so on. And then, of course, since 7 years back, the unemployment rate was still extremely high, but it is just increased since then. And of course, when you had a sort of 44-45% of the population unemployed, then inequality becomes very high. And that is one reason why South Africa is the #1. Again, this year they won the first prize, so to speak, to be the most, we are the most unequal country in the world.
Yeah, it's not a prize that we want, is it? Dr. Forslund, one of the issues that the government talks about insofar as what these outcomes will be used for in this latest survey is to provide more information to help government insofar as reaching the National Development Plan goals for 2030. Now, in 2014, 2015, the last time the survey was done, perhaps these goals still seemed attainable, but we're dangerously close to 2030. How do you reckon, we're doing insofar as reaching the NDP goals?
No, I mean, one of the goals is that no human being, no citizen in South Africa should be below the food poverty line, which now is 663 rand per month. But presently you have over half of the population under the upper poverty line, and I don't think they will reach the goal of the. I mean, when they measured this last time in 2015, then it was 40% who was living under the food poverty line. I don't think it's possible, and especially as the government and the treasury are resisting the push from civil society for a basic income grant, which would fix that matter. But then, of course, it is the unemployment rate, and that people who are unemployed, they have to go into survival mode, so to speak.
I mean, it's called the Income and Expenditure Survey, and one of the things that government says is that it will help South Africa understand. You just talked about the basic income grant. It's going to help the South African government understand the impact of social grants in reducing poverty. Depending on the outcomes of this survey, Dr. Forslund, is there room to maneuver? Do you think government is open to considering a BIG, just depending on what comes out of the survey?
No, I mean the Treasury was not even open to prolong the so-called COVID grant, the 350 rand. Now in the midterm budget, they prolonged it 1 year, sort of under pressure from under public pressure. So I don't think. I mean, you always have a division in governments also. So maybe the Department of Social Affairs and Social Development, maybe they came out with a report, as you know. I think it was 2 years ago now, or 1.5 years ago. But then they withdrew it again under pressure from inside the government. So it's all about sort of organizing to make this push. But I mean, when it comes to inequality also, you have to look at the wages in those who are employed, formally and informally. And there also the issue is organizing. You have to have a strong trade union movement in order to beat these terrible inequality numbers for South Africa. And I mean, now soon the public sector worker strike is coming on, and one should know that well, because of the special reason for this, but it has been said that the inequality when it comes to wages in public sector, it is a little better than it's the most equal sector, so to speak, in the economy. And of course, that is one factor there is the high organization of workers in the public sector. So, but I would like to say also that it's very important that these 31,000 households which are picked out now to be surveyed and asked questions about the income, it would be very good if people really try to participate, because if people don't participate, then the rules of such a survey is that you are not allowed to replace them with another household. And I mean, it's not only government who needs the result here to see what the situation is. Yeah. It's also all kind of researchers and the trade union movement and civil society. We want to know the statistics of how the inequality and poverty and income and how people are surviving in this country. So people should participate and answer truthfully to the questions. Yeah. That's what I'm hoping for.
It's a big commitment being asked from the households who will be chosen for this survey, Dr. Forslund. They'll be asked to keep a weekly expenditure diary supplied by Stats SA. They'll be asked to record their daily purchases for a period of 2 weeks and so on. And you've just talked about the importance of taking part and staying the course insofar as the survey is concerned. But I wonder what your hopes are, Dr. Forslund, for, depending on what comes out of the survey, for the kinds of policy changes that perhaps we are hoping to see. You've already talked about South Africa being the most unequal society in the world. We know that for a fact, and we've known for some time. We know what inequality means and the levels that we have in South Africa, what it means for social upheaval. What are you hoping will be the tangible outcomes here?
I didn't hear the last question. Please repeat it.
What are you hoping will be the tangible outcomes, the shifts in policy direction, shall we say, depending on what comes out of the survey?
Well, a survey is just information. Then you can interpret it in different ways. But I mean, you should never hope that the outcomes are bad. But I mean, we know anecdotally from what people are telling us and from other surveys and other sort of investigative journalism and so on. We know basically what the situation is like, but we don't have the overall numbers for the whole nation. So what the government will do with it, I mean, the Treasury will probably answer as usual that there's no money because they don't want to increase the tax rates on high-income earners. And nothing is done towards illicit financial flows. And I mean, there's not enough public works program to repair the damage been done by the floods and repairing sanitation, water and so on. There's a lot of things to be done in South Africa. And if people are employed, then of course the inequality, then people will have a wage. Yeah. And then the inequality numbers, then South Africa wouldn't be number one any longer in the world when it comes to inequality. So that has to have to be done. But I mean, information is information, and politics is another thing. Yeah. So everybody will use this tool. I mean, a hammer can be done. You can build a chair with a hammer, but you can also break glass with a hammer. So it's just a tool. Information is a tool.
Dr. Dick Forslund, AIDC Senior Economist, thanks very much for joining us this morning. Stats SA launching the Income and Expenditure Survey for 2022-23. The last time the survey was done was some 7 years ago. 6:50 this morning. Still ahead.